Well, I have to do this because, just in case somebody complain about your Build of All Things podcast, we good. So I got to play this before everything that I do.
All statements made on this comedy show are personal opinions and not the official endorsements by the City and County of Honolulu.
Okay. Now we clear.
Now we're good.
Clear. And if, in case I suck on this podcast, you can blame the city and county.
Let's go. I just want to give a warm thank you for just making time. You're a busy man. Thank you for meeting me at the coffee shop and sitting and chopping it up is what I call it. It was, man. What I loved most about, just having that one-on-one sitting. Every time you got up, everybody knew you there. Like people coming in and out, your community knows you. That was Eva Beach, by the way, Coffee Bean. But I just loved how everyone coming in and out already know who you are. You're a legend in my eyes. I'm from Peoria, Illinois originally. So Peoria is known for Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
So every time like Eddie Murphy would give cred, he would give cred to Richard Pryor. Yeah. And then so on all the way up to even Kevin Hart. Oh yeah, Richard Pryor is the OG. So I always had this like comedy, legend from my hometown. But then when I moved here in 2000 and met my wife, and now we're together 20 something years, 13 grandkids.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
When you told me 13 grandkids, your wife part Filipino.
Man, actually, she's not. But,
okay.
But the kids, our kids, we have 4 kids together. But yeah, they're 3 of them married, one's about to get married, and the oldest has 3, the next 2, 5 each, and
That's
it's like
beautiful, man.
It is. It's a legacy thing where when you start seeing grandkids and they're growing, it just life gets exciting, but it changes perspective,
of course,
as well. And so, living in Waianae for the first 12 years. I remember watching I think you were live at the Hawaii Theater.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, dude, you're like the OG. Dude. You're the Richard Pryor of Hawaii.
I got to tell you, that special, I just remember everybody trying to compare me with, Andy Bumatai, Rap Replinger, Frank DeLima. And I'm like, no, I'm Augie. And I remember saying, I got to do something so that I get my own business card, so I can tell my own story, so I can make my own path instead of being compared to the guys who I idolize too. But I wanted to bring my story. So that Hawaii Theater show was a business card to the world. One, I wanted to shoot something that was going to look like was from the mainland. So we spend a lot of money shooting it, but I knew that if people saw maybe my type of comedy, which was very different from what everybody else saw, prior to me, then maybe I would get an opportunity to do something magical. And I just remember the first 20 minutes earlier that day, I sent out almost 3,000 warriors that left to go fight in Afghanistan.
Wow.
They called.
Do you recall the year?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Man. When was Hawaii Theater shot? Almost 20-something.
We'll look it up.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Me and Kerry Tagawa. Kerry Tagawa was the guy that played the bad guy in the Mortal Kombat. Remember watching the very first Mortal Kombat? He played Shensu. Anyway, yeah. So he was hanging out with me, and I was like, man, I'm hanging out with the Mortal Kombat guy, right? And he did Pearl Harbor, Planet of the Apes, and we became really good friends. So the military asked, hey, if I could go and host and say a few words because this is gonna be the largest, shipment of soldiers going to Afghanistan. And I remember I was super nervous about the special, and I needed to almost do a disconnect. And it really helped me that day because, man, I saw kids sitting in the front row, right? Knowing that they might not see mom or dad. And it became a very sobering day for me. Just then later on, heading to the Hawaii Theater, I was ready to go, but I was nervous. I just gone through something that, now we know what happened. The casualties of war.
Well, you said something just there that just kind of, when I served in the Navy, I remember going to boot camp, and my first day, I was like, man, everybody's I feel like I'm still in high school. It's like everybody's 18, 19 years old. I honestly, when I went to boot camp, I thought I was going to be the young boy.
Yeah.
Going in at 18, 19, and I thought I was going to be 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds. But nah, they're all kids. They're all kids. So when you went and you saw a whole bunch of kids, I was just thinking man, you're right. They're all young bucks.
Yeah. And I saw, families with children, and I was like, man, they might not ever see mom and dad.
Oh, even that connection too.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Okay. So
it
helped me, be grounded that day. I was very, very humbled by that, and that was a memorable day because then I got to the theater and I had watched the Olympics. And I started writing all these crazy things about the Olympics, about how come there's no, Filipino basketball team. The Samoan gymnastic. How come there's no Samoan gymnastic.
Yep.
And I did this whole... So when people tell me to do the Samoan gymnastic, what people don't realize is I made it up that
day.
Right there.
Yeah.
Because I was so nervous that I never get into my set.
You needed fresh content.
Yeah. To 20 minutes... into the whole routine. So if you watch the Hawaii Theater, the first 20 minutes was stuff that I made up either that day or something I was working on because I couldn't get back on track. But I ended up doing an hour and 25 minutes.
Man, and it's so crazy hearing the backstory of that day because I feel like just hearing that now, most people's most memorable positional moments that kind of detour them into their careers or different places. It's crazy how God can use things to position our hearts for that day. When you said you kind of had this humbling heart going into that, man, this is something bigger than me in this comedy set today.
So doing comedy is nothing compared to seeing soldiers that might not ever come back.
That's crazy.
So it's very sobering. But I prepared because I lived out in Y&I for 16 years. So I was able to test a lot of those jokes on the bus, in Tamuras, at my workplace.
Yep.
And I knew okay, I was ready to go. People was going to see something different. And then if you watch the Hawaii Theater show, the first 25 minutes, the cameras went down, the front cameras. So everything was
side shots.
Yes. And dude, I had paid a lot of money. I was I was not happy. And the mics was out. Wow. So listen or watch live from the Hawaii Theater. If you're a production guy, like our friend in back there, he going, this was crummy. Man. But we did a lot. People saw something that was different. It was who this guy talking about ice addicts raking the grass with a fork? You know what I mean? I was talking about some outrageous thing.
But you connected to us locally is what I love because, I'm not born and raised Waianae, but I've lived there long enough. When I heard the joke, I think you said, you think people in Waianae, they look like this or something.
Oh, yeah. I said, no, they look mad. They look mad. They're just hot.
Yeah. And I was like, he gets it. It is. It's hot.
Yeah. It's so hot. They're not mad. They're just hot.
I love that line because you connect it. And that's what's funny. And what comedians, I think, do best is they know how to connect, right?
Right.
So not only connecting with us locally, but you were able to take what we have here and what we laugh at and take it to the mainland.
I think telling the truth. I've been in this now for almost 30-something years. So I always tell people, when you watch a public speaker, you can almost smell the BS. You know? Maybe overdoing it or like, you know. And that's why I love going to seminars, you know. You kind of see the same maybe cadence and way they do things, but you can tell which of these speakers are very authentic. You know?
Yeah. I get it because I remember feeling that in churches.
Yeah.
I go see different pastors and I'm, okay, you got the words down, you know, but I remember
you're not connecting, right?
Yeah. I remember when I first went to Inspired Church with Pastor Mike Kai, I remember hearing him talk. I'm like, man, he knows how to relate. Okay, this is good. It's awesome. Then he stopped. He goes, all right, everybody turn off the cameras. He stopped. He made everyone turn off the cameras because, you know, they got the light. And he sat down. He got on the front. He's like, look, can I just be real with y'all? And I was like, yeah, you could be real with me. And then he just like, this is really what I want to do. I really just want to give you guys Jesus. And I was just like, oh, I like this dude, you know? And then that connectivity is like what you're saying is like, you could feel the.
And with comedy, dude, if you telling a funky story or something that's not relatable, people know. So like, man, I've been so blessed to do this for 36 years, being vulnerable on stage. And then many times, well, so truthful. I don't know if people, you know, was like, oh man, is he being honest? Wow, he's telling it. Is he being funny or he, you know? And I think that's the beautiful thing about public speaking, right? We respond, I think I heard this with body language. Like, you know, a lot of communication is body language. So like, you know, when you walk on stage, if you ready to have a good time, guess what? The audience is going to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and we only listen to like very little.
Yeah.
So like, I'm so thankful to the people that paid attention.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's so true. It's a package deal. I think it's your honesty, it's your how you carry yourself, your passion, but then it's the joke itself. It's how you deliver it, it's a lot. See, to me, I think there's an art in comedy. Like how you guys package and deliver it. I mean, it's a lot to it. It's not easy.
Well, I like telling a story. So there's not so much, you know,
thought out.
Writing a joke.
Yeah.
I met Jason Momoa a couple weeks ago. And the same feeling maybe your daughters or your wife would have seeing him, I had the same feeling.
I would too.
And I had to really check myself. Like, am I feeling all these funny feeling inside? And I was. So if I can tell that story to you on stage, I might have a beautiful 20-minute set. So when you come to see me work out on a Wednesday night, because I'm using Parade Center at Valor to like work out these new bits, you know, I'm telling a story that how do I take you on this roller coaster ride so you can go, oh, right?
Yeah.
And man, you know, a couple of weeks ago I met Jason Momoa and I went, thank you, man. You just wrote me 20 minutes of new material.
Yes, sir.
Not because of how he responded to me, but like I was watching the girls around me and I was going to let you know, I was the chosen one. I was the target.
Yes, sir.
Right? I was like, he picked me. Look at the girls on the side.
Yeah. Me.
He picked me.
Let's
go. But the build up,
yeah,
you know, is always a fun thing because, you know, I talked about having 2 openly gay sons and trying to understand. And that's the first time I think any Hawaii comic has ever talked about homosexuality in their families. And I did that because I was frustrated. I was having a hard time dealing with it. So a lot of people, I think, caught on to that because I had guys that would come up to me and like, Don Quixote. I think the last one was like a Don Quixote. And a guy came up to me and said, bro, I wanted to kill my son. Yeah. It's like, I wanted to kill my son. But I saw your video.
Well, good for you, Augie, man.
No, but like, you know, when you hear stuff like that, you just kind of like, because when you're doing those jokes and you don't know that you might be helping someone. I know like laughter heals. I know all that stuff, but you don't know. And there are so many times in this last 30 years that I've had moments like that. Because sometimes after I'm done with the show, I'm done. And sometimes I lay back in bed, I go, I wonder if that helped anybody.
Yeah,
right?
but it's crazy how comedy always, not always, but a lot of times has this beautiful message. I was just watching a show, stand up with, what's his name? What's his name? He was in Living Color.
Damon Wayans?
No. Jamie Foxx. I'm tripping.
Oh,
Jamie
okay.
Foxx just did a stand up. I don't know if you watched it.
The newest one, right?
Yeah,
when he had this stroke.
Yes, that's the one. But just the story of delivering, how he delivered it.
Yeah,
it actually was a beautiful message too. You know, and I thought, wow, it's like comedy. You're really just telling a story.
Yeah.
It's funny. We laugh because you're great on delivering it, but he was also giving us a message.
Yeah.
And I was like, because after that, I looked at, like, do you see how he flipped that when he's playing the piano and he was, he was with a secular, cuss.
Yeah.
Got everyone. He's like, wait, hold on, let me flip that. Boom. And then had everyone singing. I was like, wow, that was powerful.
Yeah. Just
how he used comedy, but I was funny too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, funny is funny.
Yeah.
No matter how you do it,
Yep.
So, I've been super blessed that I've been able to not only maybe heal some people that needed to hear the things that I said on stage, but it really helped me, become a better person, become a better dad and understanding, but also healing, because I was frustrated a lot of times, when you talk about things that are personal, how do you make that funny?
Yeah.
Right. And I tell people now, like, you guys don't realize how much I appreciate you guys, because I realized after not doing it regularly for the last 3 years, because I decided to become a public servant, that I needed this more than you guys. Try sitting there for 6-7 hours listening to repetitive people complain about stuff, right? After 3-4 hours, everybody sound like one Snoopy cartoon. And it's hard.
Yeah.
I needed the escape. I needed to disconnect. And man, I'm having so much fun on stage right now, just talking and hopefully finding that next special, which I can probably shoot around September, October. I'm not in any rush because I want to reinvent maybe.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think part of overall wellness, right, that you have this creativeness of you, this outlet that you need to lift that pillar, right? Because your career, you're doing awesome, but you need to feel this to feel your overall wellness, man. And that's why you're looking for those spots to just, be that comic again. And because that's you, and not to say this politician isn't you, because that's you too.
Right.
What I'm seeing you do now and what we've talked about, man. Okay.
Yeah. Interject that with God.
Come on.
Okay. So
let's go.
So it's become more difficult because, as a comic, you look at things in a gray area. There's no, black or white. You play in that gray area.
Yeah.
So I have empathy for a lot of things, and I go, I wonder if that would make God happy if I said that. So even harder.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then you get stuff like, but I'm saved. I'm not hurting anybody. Right? So you play with that. You play with that, that I get tightrope. You want to call it tightrope? Making sure that you don't fall off.
Yep.
So it's an interesting time in my life, because I wake up every day with the community in mind, and when I see hurtful emails or things that need to be taken care of, like I really feel like, man, I gotta take care of this. Mm-hmm. But people don't realize, like, I go home or I don't sleep because I constantly thinking about how I can help. And sometimes the only person I get to express my challenges is my wife And I just remember a couple of days ago, actually, I called Pastor Mike. I was like, yeah, I got a question for ask. Because, I'm reading my Bible, but I'm not hearing God. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wrestling, 100%. Right? I'm wrestling. Yep. I'm having the most exciting Bible times. And then you get a couple tough days and you're going, where you at?
Yep.
Right? You start doubting. You start, playing this game. Mm-hmm. And we all know that's Satan, right? Mm-hmm. But I just remember talking to and I felt overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I had people sending emails, oh, we like meet with you. And every day my Bible devotion was like, love. I gotta love that guy.
Yeah. It ain't easy.
It's but we need to, right? Because God wants us to be examples, right? And we, being an example is tough sometimes when somebody yelling, screaming, and you grew up in public housing and you automatically like put up your defense. Maybe you might be 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches taller than me, but I think I get a chance in my head, right? Like, bro, and I gotta somehow bring it down and ask God to protect my heart. So man, I'm so thankful that I inserted Jesus, because it's Jesus and God is helping me really pray before I go into everything. Like having on real good perspective. But those couple of days was like, where you at, God?
Yeah, I have a tool for you that when you get in those arenas of like where are you at, and enemies trying to make you almost feel like his presence isn't around. Mm-hmm. It's like, feels like sometimes the enemy puts us in this closet and you're kind of like, wait a minute, where am I? I don't feel no light, no feelings, no nothing. And
right.
God's not an emotional God. He built every part of our body, right? So my tool that I give you is the secret weapon to cut the snake's head off is gratitude, thankfulness, praising. So I say that to say, like, when you feel in that moment, the shift in perspective in your brain, because it's going, me and you, our brains go everywhere,
right.
is just focusing on one thing and thanking him. It could be for your wife, for your kids, for the position you gave, for provision, for the food. Just start thanking and have this gratitude. Guess what happens? That those walls start knocking down and God starts draw near to him, he'll draw near to you. And that's what starts happening. That's a tool I want to give you. Ever feel like that again? Gratitude, man. Gratitude.
My wife just looked at me and said, well, you decided to serve.
Yeah.
So if you're going to serve, just listen. It's so amazing how they always get the answer. Just listen.
The stillness, the quietness.
Yeah. Let them yell, let them scream. Just listen. And now that's all I needed.
Yep.
And I felt like, okay, God was speaking to my wife.
Yeah, come on.
Maybe I gotta use her more often.
Well, no, this was you're gonna laugh at this. One of my prayers to God is use my wife as my vocal piece, my trumpet to me. Meaning, like, when I don't know what to do and I go to her, speak to her to speak to me,
right.
Just so I know there's confirmation in what I'm feeling. And so she's always been like, I pray that she's the one that God downloads into and checks me. Sometimes I go off course a little bit. And I'm like, what do you think, honey? And she breaks it down. I'm like, yeah, that lines up with the Bible and stuff. So we good. I'm going to follow you.
Oh, like you don't like because you're going to hear like, well, I told you.
Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah.
The wife responds like, is it okay for me to tell you how I feel? And she knows, like, I was driving them to the airport and I was like, I don't know if I like do this leading thing. I don't know if I like run for office ever again. Mm-hmm. Well, Augie, one day you like, the next day you don't like. Well, she don't speak that way, but
I know.
You at this moment decided that you wanted to serve. So part of being a servant is listening. Because I was talking about like how, I come home and I just don't like deal with, because it's so, and I was finding all these excuses to get the advice. Kind of like, because I wasn't feeling it. Mind you, 3-4 days out of the week, I call her dad, and we have Bible devotion together
telling me.
every morning while I'm driving to my radio show. And it's kind of cool because my father-in-law is nothing like me.
Yeah.
You know, he's howly.
You know, you said howly.
Howly. As soon as he would look at me the first time, he was like, "What's your credit score?" I was like, "What is that credit score?"
That says everything about
and
you.
it's like some of the I'm having the coolest conversation. Never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be like, you know.
Well, praise God
praying.
for him because he's downloading into you right now. Because don't you guys do like a little Bible study on the way? Yeah.
So next year, our goal is to read the entire Bible. So we're going to do like 20 minutes every day. And then we're going to write what we felt like we got. And we're going to write on prayer. So we're going to take maybe 2 chapters. We're going to write about, you know, what we got from it. And then we're going to write one prayer.
That's so good.
Off of the, you know. And I was like, okay. And they said, if we do that, we will read the entire Bible in a year.
Oh, you was excited. You was like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Dude, I'm doing my father-in-law. You know, a guy who, you know, a guy who is very... He reminds me of Trump, believe it or not. He very
What, the way he looks or the way he acts?
a little bit like that, but like, you know, his demeanor, you know, he's a nice guy, you know, but like, yeah, you know. That's right, Augie. Someone will explain. But yeah, he's nothing, you know, in the outside world, you know, I probably would not be.
Yeah, it's so crazy how God works, man. Can you just elaborate on the moment, like you really gave your life back to God and why, and if there's anything there? It's exciting for me, you know, just always learning that pivotal moment. And I think other people like to know, like, how does that transition happen? Like you're all of a sudden, like you want to believe in God or believe in Jesus and follow this path.
I always felt like he was there. And, you know, I went to, you know, I grew up Catholic. So my Portuguese grandma was like, you got to go to church on Sunday and you got to go catechism on Monday. So God was always there. You know, was like we had to learn how to do, you know, the first communion, confirmation.
I've been there, brother. The
Dude,
whole.
My Portuguese grandma was like that. My Portuguese grandma was like, you know, it's church. My grandma's in her closet doing the rosary, you know. And then I became a young dad like you. You know, I had to work hard, and then I was trying to search for God. I knew he was always there. Then I went to this one church for a long time, and then I left the church, got divorced, and then I met my wife now. We go to church here and there, and you know, I wrestled with God for a lot. I know he was there, but I wrestled like.
When you say wrestle, what does that
meaning like
look like for you?
Are you there? You know what I mean? Like, and it's hard not to think that because he's blessed my life in so many ways, right? Even when I was doing the worst things in the world, like I was still getting blessings.
He's still there.
Yeah. So my question was, does God walk away from you? That's what I wanted to ask. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I remember those years, man, where I felt like, I'm not even close to God. I'm not even like I'm doubting. I was saying stuff like, maybe heaven is on earth right now.
Yeah.
You know? I was saying crazy stuff like that. But then God would bless me like out of nowhere. And I'm going, ooh. And then I just remembered, you know, my brother passed away. And
how old was your brother?
He was 60. Yeah. 4 years older than me. And this just like happened last year. So, you know, my wife and I was like, you know, we're going to start going to church and, you know, read our Bible. And my brother dies. And then I'm wondering if he went to heaven. You know, because my dad never taught me and my brothers to like, hey, make sure you love your brother. It's like, we never had that kind of family. Had a hard time telling people I love you when I hang up the phone. And I remember the first time I told my dad I love him, man, it felt so good.
Yeah.
You know, like I think he got it. You know, but
he received it.
But when I was growing up, I remember watching the movie Dad. Had this movie Dad. Ted. He was in Cheers.
Was he like the mom dad? No, that's not the one.
The guy from Cheers. What his name?
Yeah.
Ted Danson. So
yeah.
Ted Danson was the kid, and the dad, I forgot the dad's name, another actor. But I went to watch the movie Dad with my friends at the King Theater, and we all sat there like. And the only reason why we went to watch the movie is because it was only $1.25.
Oh,
and we're paper boys, and we're like, okay, we'll go watch the movie. And then watching the movie, you know, we all from the public housing. And there's this moment where Ted Danson tells his dad he loved him. It was a, you know, very upside, you know, crazy relationship. And if you're a guy and you see that and you hoping and you wishing that, man, I wish I had that kind of relationship with my dad, right?
Yep.
Dude, all the guys were like, everybody was crying, but it was like acting like we all tough, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember riding on the bus and telling my friend, bro, I'm just going to tell my dad I love him. Because he died.
Yeah.
At least Ted Danson got to tell him.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to tell my dad. And I remember coming home telling Mama, Ma, I'm going to tell Dad I love him. And Mama said, it's good. You need to tell your father that. You need to tell your father. No, bro.
Yeah.
You need to tell him. So I remember was Sunday. My dad came home. He was sitting on a chair. We were watching Undersea World of Jacusto. Right? And every time the commercial came on, my mom would look at me.
Now's the time.
Right. But then, you know, you ever sat with your dad alone?
Yeah.
And you wanted to tell him something. Like,
it's
they
hard,
know.
man. No, yeah.
But they knew.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, after 20 minutes, he was like, what you like say to me? It was like nothing like, son.
Yeah.
Would you like to share what's in your heart?
What you like to say?
It was like, oh, Dad, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. And my dad said, what you mahu? That was it, brah. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I was like, and my mom was like, oh, honey, he's trying to say something. Just the moment was gone. And upstairs.
And how old were you again?
I was like,
I mean, roughly.
9th grade, you know. But like, I remember going to school the next day. All my friends got to do them. And my friend's like, whoa, what your father said? Your father's mahu.
Sorry, that makes me laugh, man. Of course it does.
No, it was the F word. He never said mahu. He used the F word, you know. That sound like maggot.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
No, Dad. I couldn't even say it again.
Weren't you at the movie with me?
No, yeah. Me and the guys were just kind of like, we had, you know, but so the whole point of that is that, you know, we don't have, like, me and my brothers, we know that we love each other, but we don't have that kind of relationship. So when my older brother died, I remember how challenging it was for him being my half brother, you know, for my dad's first marriage. And I remember the challenges he had, jail, the abuse, you know, the neglect. And we became good friends because he helped me with my campaign. And we spent more time talking to each other while we was holding signs.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And when he died suddenly, I became very depressed, like, I wonder where he went. And then my wife said, you better go, maybe you should go to the hospital and go pray and ask God to maybe intercede. Maybe he still can hear. He was in coma at that time. And I asked the doctor, you think my brother can hear? He might be able to, you know, and I cried. I was like, jeez, you know, why I gotta feel and be this way? But there was a very cool calming effect when I did that. And my wife was like, how you feel? I go, no, I feel good. Thank you for making me do that. And then that week, Pastor Mike had invite a whole bunch of politicians to come so they can pray for good leadership.
Yeah.
And I went, heard the message, and I knew there was going to be a man cave that week. And I was like, man, maybe I should go, right? It was a Thursday, I believe, and I was coming from council. It was a long day, and I couldn't make it. Then I looked on the app, and I saw a bunch of guys still standing in line at Aspire. So I called Randy, Pastor Randy. I said, Randy, what, I can still come or what? And he said, yeah, you should come.
Yeah,
So I came walking in late. Put me in the front row.
Yeah,
you know,
of course
right
they
in the
did.
front row.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and I sat there and I listened to Rex Kane preach. And I was blown away. He was talking about how lonely he gets and he wanted to take his life. And people don't realize sometimes as celebrities or always being in the public eye, you crave that. There's selfishness. There's a whole bunch of things involved.
It isolates
But
you.
like, yeah.
It isolates you.
Right.
Yeah, man.
You don't like tell people you're frustrated. You don't like tell people you're mad. Especially when you feel like everybody is ready for like stab you in the back.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I had...
Man, you just gave me...
And then he prophesied.
What
He prophesied. I got...
You got the video.
I'll go send them to you. You know, he's... So here's the crazy part. When he was doing that, I wasn't really listening because I was blown away by what he was saying minutes before that about wanting to take his life. And they were filming it. And then before they started, I said, look, I got to go use the bathroom. But I really did the bathroom so I can dig out because I never talk to.
Yeah,
I was bothered by what he was saying. I realized I didn't need a God. You know, and when I called I was crying. I wanted to apologize for being a stupid husband, you know, and dude. And then, I started reading my Bible.
So right there, you just felt like there was more of an interjection of God just moving you. Like he just hit you where you were.
Yeah.
In that front chair. Yeah. And then later you go realize God not only met you right there at the chair, but he was speaking to you too.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear it at the moment, but later he showed it to you. It's
when Rex was talking about wanting to take his life, I was right there in the moment. And I remember and I told Rex that. I'm like, man, I could feel what you was feeling. Many a times. You're not going to talk to people about, my brother took his life at 18, you know? You're not going to tell people you get those deep, dark thinking. You know, like, do I belong here? You know, am I really doing things correct?
Yep.
People really need me? I don't think so. You know, and a lot of it is just because you're selfish.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was like bothered by what he was saying. And I realized, man, I'm a selfish guy. You know, and my wrestling with God is because I was selfish.
You nailed it, man.
Right?
It's like a lot of us.
I'm not ready for you, bro.
Yeah, we're not ready. Like
I'm not ready.
I don't
for
want you right now because if I do, I can't do this.
How can? When you're blessing me? What kind of game you playing?
Yeah.
So, that moment, and then I had to listen. I know he was talking to me. I know he never knew who I was because I came in late.
Yeah.
You know, I never know. And he was just talking your humor, gonna bring people to God, June 2nd.
He put a date on it.
Yeah, he put one date. But I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of like, I was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, you know, I started going to Inspire. I started reading my Bible. And I'm trying to do my Bible studies every day live or when I can, because, you know, I do morning radio. Sometimes I tell myself, I'm going to do them. And then already in the middle of the day, I'm not going to do them. Even though I did it, I'm not going to film it. You know, and I tell people, like, I'm not a preacher. I'm just telling you what I get from it because I want to be kept accountable. I like people tell me when they see me at Safeway, like, bro, how's your Bible studies going? Right?
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
people tell me that because I
That's
like
so
tell
cool,
them,
though.
dude, this is what I read.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they see 1, 2, 3 days about what happened to the 4th day. And people don't realize, like, I get up at 4 o'clock every morning. So I read my Bible. The first thing I do is I pray and I say, thank you. That's what I do. Thank you for
yes.
everything under the sun.
Come on.
Right? And then
man.
I read my Bible studies. And then I realize God first and then my family. Then I have a whiteboard on my refrigerator and I put a scripture so that my wife would see it. So she knows, like, and then I'm driving. I'm talking to my father-in-law. We're going over the study.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling me what it means, or, you know, I'm explaining what I'm feeling. And then, man, so this last couple of months, even despite, you know, like having doubts at times or feeling like, man, is he there?
Yeah.
You know, am I being punished? Because I don't hear him today.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
hear him yesterday. You know, is he going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask that question.
Yeah.
You know, because this is a really, you know, it's a crazy life, but like I'm beginning to understand, like, it's okay because where we going, it'll be forever.
And that was what was powerful for me to hear from you was when your brother, when he was going, I don't know if he went yet or not, but when you said, like, I wonder where he's going.
Yeah.
I think when you said that, to me, that has faith written all over it, because you didn't say there's nowhere to go. You wanted to know where he was going. So you knew he was going somewhere.
Yeah.
So your faith was already there. When I
Yeah.
hear that, it was just a matter of, I'm not in it right now, but I believe in it.
How's this? 2
You know
weeks
what I mean?
later, 2 weeks later, right? My good friend Mana sees what I'm doing, reading my Bible, doing my Bible studies. He invites me to a men's midweek service in Waipahu. And he invites all these guys. Hey, Augie go and share his story. And I feel like I've just was rebirth again, right? A rebirth. I have a new spirit of, you know, just wanted to share about God. And
Yeah.
so I'm there. I'm sharing. And after I'm done, because I had to go back home because I've been out the whole day, my brother's friend, who's me on the side, he goes, hey, I'm going to let you know, your brother got saved.
Come on.
How's that one?
What else he say?
He said, dude, your brother gave his life to God like several years, like a year ago.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
And it's crazy that God found a way for you to hear that.
Yeah.
And the timing.
Yeah. And the people associated. So all these guys were
Wow.
ex-convicts, guys, right?
Yep.
So my brother was, I guess, going to just
Wow.
finding
That gives me
guys.
goosebumps,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, even when my dad died, like, I doubted God. You know, I heard someone tell me about, you know, like, your dad went back to the perfect place. I'm like, you know, I heard my dad got baptized. I don't know if my dad got baptized,
Wow.
right?
That just hearing that stuff's crazy, isn't it?
So, it was like, you know, he accepted Jesus, right?
Wow.
But like, I remember sitting with my friend, and he was like, "Where you think your dad went?" Well, the guy that called me Mahu when I was the one that was always mean, and I don't know. And he was like, "You don't know?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." And he gave me this pretty cool story about how, you know, scientists can never tell you the exact moment when a baby's heartbeat happened. They can never tell you.
It's interesting.
That is God. That power, right?
Right.
They don't know what day, what time. It's just all of a sudden, boom, boom. Right?
That's so cool.
And then he said, wow, that's all God. The beautiful thing about being God, and that world, as we grow older, distorts our thinking about that perfect place where it came from.
Wow.
The world that you accept and you make of, right? And he says, well, can't you be sure that your dad just went back to the perfect place? I'm like, so like, you know, I remember saying some really dumb stuff like, we just energy. You know what I was doubting? We just straight to the phone line.
Sorry.
Maybe, maybe God wants us to be here because he never come back.
Yep.
He never come back. Maybe he's just trying to tell us we'll be the best person right now on this, making heaven here on earth, so that when we die, our energy go right back into the electric line because we're a ball of energy. But that's the kind of distorted stuff I had, and when I think about that, I struggle with that because I wonder if God forgave me of that, for thinking that, oh, you think you know better than me? That you think this is the perfect place? Then how come you allow somebody to shoot up kids?
Mm-hmm.
How come you allowed people to take drugs? So, you play with
all those scenarios.
Yeah. So, we're in deep at today. All the stuff that you wanted to talk about. Welcome to
Builder of all things, man.
Producer guy must be thinking, what happened to 153 or 135? We're not even there already. In fact, we've been talking for like an hour.
Well, I think.
How long? 47
Let's
minutes,
go,
dude.
man. Hey.
It's like, Richie, I go get Augie on a 135. What do you say? Remember, he's confident. You put it in.
Yeah.
Augie, we're going to talk about the 135. We'll talk about smoke and fire.
Oh man, but this is exactly what Builder of all things is. It's the journey of life, man, and something that moved me personally, and was a profound revelation for me, and I want to share it with you, was I was going through, as an entrepreneur, I go through struggles. I mean, with permitting and all these things,
taxes,
trying to line up projects, finances, everything just kind of boils up into this weight sometimes. And as an entrepreneur, I remember having, and this doesn't say I don't believe in God and all that, but I have wrestled with God still to this day.
Sure.
And I had this moment where I was just like, God, how am I to be your business leader representative here if you don't give me some insight on what's coming and how I can plan? I want to be the captain of the ship, but how can I do steer the ship if I can't see and the thing is foggy? You know what I'm saying? Give me some vision. And then I was watching the show Chosen. You ever seen it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh man, so
come on, man.
The way that the Jesus on there, he's amazing, man. And I was just what I noticed is I felt like he was getting the information from the Father as he was moving. And that was new to me kind of, because I always looked at Jesus kind of omnipotent. And he is. He's God in the flesh.
Right.
But he put off omnipotence to do the will of the Father while he was on earth. And so, for example, John the Baptist, and then why is he crying if he knew already Lazarus was going to die? I didn't understand those kind of things, but then God showed me that I was downloading information to him as he was walking so he could do the will of the Father. All the way even to the point where he was getting ready to learn. He knew he's going to die, but he even said, can this cup pass from me? I'm like, why would he say that if he's omnipotent? But it's because he was being revealed. He didn't know for sure if he was going to be pulled out, but if he was, he's going to do the will. And so what that showed me was those moments you're in a closet. I was in a closet and just why can't I get that vision? But then it was psh. He was the most intimate relationship you're going to have with me is trusting me until I reveal it to you.
Yeah.
So in those moments of silence, that's not me gone. That's me stretching and growing. And I'm going to give you your vision.
Something.
I'm going to give you something.
But we got to be okay with maybe it not even coming.
Yes, we do.
So when you can.
You nailed it.
Yeah. So when we can deal with that and when we can be okay with that, I think maybe that's the thing at our last breath where we go, I got it. Okay.
Yeah. The final revelation almost. And that was huge for me because now I'm in a place, this is totally next level for me in my faith walk. Cause now I'm I'm okay not knowing.
Yeah.
And that's different. Cause I used to I need to know, cause I'm just an entrepreneur. I need to know, all these things. So finally I'm all right, now I'm really walking with you. I don't need to hear from you, but if I do, whew, You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, please.
yeah. But I'm human, and 3 days go by and, next stress, next weight. But, I always remind myself, like, man, if you want this cup to pass from me, but if not, then let's go. And if you can reveal it, I'm here to receive it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And it's, maybe we can jump into a quick 153.
Think so?
Yeah.
We might have to do part two. What do you think,
part
Mr.
two.
Producer guy? Yeah, we have to do part two.
But oh man, yeah, I got to get out of here too.
Okay.
It's Valentine's Day. I got to go take my wifey.
Dude,
So
my family's in Korea. I got to go do a show in Kaneohe. Valentine's show in Kaneohe.
So we're gonna maybe we'll end here, Augie. I just want to say
we can come back.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to get into your what you've done for the community as a politician and those kind of things, but I love that everybody gets to hear who you are, and that was what was huge for me, because like you said, sometimes this not facade, but we work really hard with the gifts God's given us to present those to you, but sometimes the things on the backside that we're dealing with, it's hard to throw that out to anybody, right? Because there's boundaries and value, and you don't want to give that to everybody. That's stuff that we're dealing with.
Man, I've been an open book for the last 56 years. I think, some of the stuff I said, looking back, I just remember my campaign manager is like, hey, I think we should scrub some of the things that you have online. I go, no, I can't run away from that. If it's meant to be exposed, it will be exposed, and I think it would be challenging and hard, but I think I'm faithful that God is revealing something, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, no, don't take off anything. And I remember being accused of, blackface, because I was playing a character on my TV show, that was off of a parody, off of another famous show, and they pulled it. It was like, look, that's who I was.
Yeah, that's your history.
I am not going to apologize for that, because I have no reason, because I never have. It didn't come from a bad place. I did it. I did it because I was acting. I was playing a role. And it wasn't malicious.
Yeah.
So why am I going to apologize for doing something I did? Yeah. What, I got to apologize to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, no. Maybe it was bad timing. But maybe if you wanted to find something on me, boom, it's there. I never scrub anything. That's so I will always own up to my mistakes. And I think being where I'm at right now, I think I deal with being apologetic better, because I think the years of being a comic has really toughened my skin. So I heard every
It's got to be therapeutic
things,
too, though. Because you could just get it all out.
Everybody that called me dumb, people who didn't believe, that said mean things to me, it prepared me for where I'm at right now. That couple things. Not everybody gonna like you. Your loyal friends will always be loyal to you. But I feel like God had prepared me for be a servant.
Yeah.
Because when I decided to run for office, it wasn't because I needed one job. It was a calling. Like, I wanted to know why my community is bad. And if I just truthful and I'm transparent, right? And I'm trustworthy.
Let's go.
When I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. If I made a mistake, I made a mistake. If I said things out of line, I will apologize. As a comic, no way.
Yeah, right? That's open door.
That's right.
Yep.
I'm a reflection of society. I'm saying things that you wish you could say, right? With what I'm seeing. You know, and if I said some of the things now and what I said 20-something years, I probably would have got canceled. Yep. So why did God wait all this time for allow me to, you know, be where I'm at right now? I think I needed to toughen up my skin. I needed to be confident in everything that I'm doing so that, you know, I would be prepared for whatever challenges come about. And was it scary being accused of doing black? Of course. Was it scary that people said, oh, you're going to let one comic run your district?
Come on.
And the things that people said?
Come on.
Oh, man, go read the comments when I was running.
Wow. I can't even imagine.
Call me a clown.
Wow.
Right? Even despite, you know, being a successful clown for 30 years, my wife and I have donated scholarship money. You know, we've done things in the community.
I mean, the Brave organization.
All that kind of stuff.
Man.
All that stuff, right? But you ran for office. All the things that I thought was going to be okay. No. Man, there's a other side of the world that just think, you?
What?
Huh? You never go college.
And you're good at it.
You never go college.
Yep.
And, you know, most people don't know. You want to be the governor of the state of Hawaii, all you need is a GED.
Come on.
Born and raised here, United States citizen, you're like, be president. That's it.
That's it.
But we've, you know, built all these things to make you believe that you cannot. And I'm a living example of you can.
Yep.
You can.
Can.
You know, if you can deal with the stupidity, you can. Get good people around you. You know, God, family, everybody, man. You can pave the way. You can pave the way, but you can also, man, grow in so many ways. Like, I've grown so much sitting in that chair for 4 years. Like, I respect the people that run for office. I respect leaders, right? I don't always agree with some of the stuff, but like, man, that's a tough place to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I haven't been there, but just hearing your heart of behind the scenes of just that energy over there and how much weight you guys carry, how much calls you guys get, how much emails, how many places you got to go. And it's all servanthood.
It's like I'm back in high school, bro. You know, you get the bullies who are now the nerds, bro. Who the nerds, the lawyers.
Wow.
Right? They talk down to you. Who are you?
Interesting.
Right? You got to play ball so that things can move forward. And it's not how I play ball.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, compromise.
Man, happening.
It's hard when you believe in God.
Yeah.
You know, when your gut is telling you, that don't feel right. Are you willing and able to say, I don't like it? And be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because we are people pleasers.
Yeah.
Right? We like going to sleep good at night.
Yep. Everybody happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to go see the same person that you said no to.
Yep.
Right? So that's why, like, I'm so thankful, man, that God came in when he did, because I prepare now. You know, I'm prepared right now.
Yeah,
and I know I'm not going to always be perfect on point, but I prepare by praying and being genuine, being who I am. I'm
There's
the
power
same
in
Augie.
It. Yeah.
The same Augie that went to Servanthood, that did dumb things in Kalihi Valley. I'm that same guy, just a little bit older.
But you have what's needed, and it's the empathy.
Yeah.
You have the empathy for your community, you know, and you connect and you listen. Like you said, listening's key, man. If you really listen, that's empathy. It's like, it's listening what's really happening and really feeling what they're feeling. And that will move you. And I know when you're just talking about yourself being in there, man, I just picture like David and Goliath. I feel like you're like a David. And when you go to these guys, now that you know that you got God on your back, and when you really understand what that is, you'll understand you have an army and a power behind you. Like, yeah, it may look like a little rock. When people say, oh, you know, I got God. Oh, what is that? A little rock? No. But when I throw this rock at this Goliath, guess what? He goes down. Yeah. When you understand that that's who has your back now, you know, and you still walk in integrity and still walk in righteousness, he's got you, bro.
So overwhelming. So overwhelming.
I can't even imagine.
Have to read bills and you have to listen to the people that advising you, you know, and that's why I'm so blessed, man. I have like an amazing staff, you know, that helps me because they know Augie's not no politician, you know, and I need those people.
Yeah,
Tell me what that means.
Yeah.
You know, what you really feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good. Okay, I'm going to trust that God will put you here, so I'm going to listen. You know, so that I'm lucky that I have good people around me.
So good.
And I've been through all those challenges in life, you know, where maybe most of my colleagues never. They don't understand, you know, what it is to feel not having money, where you going to get your next paycheck from. Wow, how come I couldn't go to school? How come my family never sent me school?
Yep.
You know, tons of things, you know, and, you know, I think at the end of the day, people want somebody that's relatable. People want somebody that's real. People want somebody that's going to tell you the truth, maybe, you know, sound or look like a politician. But at the end of the day, if you connect right here.
I was just going to say that, man.
You know, when I knocked on doors, dude, and I was panicking because I was reading all the comments, right? And I remember my campaign manager was like, well, you know, it might be kind of tough when you go up to Mililani, you know, because, you know, higher class, you know, lots of haoles there, you know, and Japanese people. And I'm like, that's who came to my show. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, when you in politics for so long, you're thinking that, you know, there's a stereotype. And can you beat that stereotype?
Yeah.
And I just remember, man, knocking on the door. My first week of knocking on the door, Mililani, when Haole guy came out. And I thought, this is it, my first test. And he looked at me and was like, I'm going to vote for you.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was like, why? Why? You know, because I was fired up already, right?
Yeah.
Because I was nervous. It's like, why? He goes, because I've watched your career for 20 years. I don't think you're ready to break that trust we have between each other. That was his exact words.
Wow. That's so good.
And I went, wow, then maybe
that makes so much sense too.
For 30 years paid off.
Yeah. You established trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know who
Dude,
you
after that,
yep.
Every house. Man, you gonna vote for me? Please vote for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe 5 that said I'm not voting for you. Not because, you know, or just because they never know who I was. But after I explained, I probably won them over. But man, even that, when I think back, I went, that's God.
Come on.
Because maybe, what if that guy was like, who are you? Yeah. I would have like,
yeah.
Become that little boy.
Yeah, that's the David, man. That's how God works. He can give you that little spark.